Oscar BEVIS, IFL TV MTK Global. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Ben Davison. How are we, mate?
Good, thanks, mate. You?
Very well. I just said this to you. I reckon you are the most sought after guest, perhaps, or the one who makes the most regular appearances. Not that you're not sought after, but I reckon you have made probably into four figures in the last couple of years.
I'm going to start charging IFL per appearance, I reckon. Only worth 20p, but...
Is that it, just 20p? Obviously, you'll link up with Lee Wood, fights for the British title this weekend against Rhys. First fight week together, but you've been through this. Lee's, 30 fights deep into his career. You've done it at the top level, so is it sort of things as normal for you both?
It's one of them, I think, it's when it's a big experience and it's a new thing, you can get a little bit, not flustered, but taken back and, right, so how's everything supposed to be? And, you're focused on trying to make everything perfect, and all of these things end up taking up energy, and that. The same thing's going to happen in the end where, you fight on the Saturday night, the Friday night, or whenever it may be. So it's just a case of relaxing and just seeing it through.
And it's a nice little crossover fight. You've got Rhys, who's looking to break on to the domestic scene. Lee, who many would agree is above the domestic scene, and they're sort of crossing paths now. So for the fan, it's a nice, interesting one. But obviously you ain't going to be overlooking Rhys at all.
No, in fact, the other way, I think he's, how would you say, underlooked. I don't think that's the right word, but you know what I mean. Because he's 13-0, because he's probably not been seen on many big shows, I think it's easy to underplay him and underestimate him. But I've certainly not done that, and I've explained that to Lee as well, that he's not to be underestimated. The way he carries himself in the ring. I can't say how he carries himself in terms of his preparation, because obviously I'm not there to see, but the way he carries himself within the ring is not like someone who's 13, no, it's like a veteran. So he's cool, he's calm, he's composed, and so he's certainly not to be overlooked.
Well, I did ask Lee earlier, perhaps because, I've got to get some sort of headlines and some titles. I asked him if he was looking towards world level, sharing a bill with Josh. Jazza, his last opponent, now fighting for a vacant world title. I asked him if he's looking at that world team. He said, yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it. And I suppose you echo that. You're keeping an eye on it as well, Philly.
Yeah, but look, we're here in fight week. There's nothing to look at other than Rhys, in my opinion.
Just solely Rhys then?
Solely Rhys, because it's no easy feat. I know there's a lot of talk of Lee's joined Ben, and obviously I've said that he's pound for pound the hardest puncher that I've held the pads for, and he is. But it's a different thing having power, carrying power, and punching through the target. Now he's still got to go out there and do that and make those adjustments to, like what you said there, almost 30 fights into his career. He's not done that before, so can he be composed enough, and have we done enough of it and gone over it enough and been prepared enough for him to then go in and play that out on the night? Because there's loads of fighters that carry power. That's only one small element of it. So, there's nothing else to focus on other than this. And if anybody thinks it's a walk in the park for Lee, it's certainly not.
Is there a nice bit of trainer satisfaction for this as well? Because obviously you've done the work with Tyson, you've had a fight with Josh, obviously defended his world title, you're going to be going into a mega fight with Josh. But something about the British title, wouldn't it? It's always got some, see you smiling, there's a sign about the British title.
Oh, 100%. But to be honest with you, the titles and that, it's all brilliant, but I'm a soft-hearted sucker. And when I saw Lee in the Jazza fight beat his chest when he was hurt and that, I just thought, after Leo Delandre had mentioned it to me about Lee coming down, I just thought I want to help that man achieve his dream and win that British title if I can. And someone that shows that type of character, there's something special in that, because there's a lot of people there that would have gone, do you know what, I'll hold on for a few more seconds, the ref's going to jump in here. But Lee beat his chest to say to everyone, I'm still here. That showed a lot of character, and that's what I do this job for, to help people, to help fighters better themselves, and and be the best that they can be. And the British title is a fantastic thing to achieve, but whether it was a Southern area or whatever title it may be, to help a fighter achieve his goals and his dreams is what my passion is.
Yeah, Ben, he's on the card with Josh Warrington. I just want your thoughts on the whole Warrington-Galahad situation. Obviously, Warrington's got this whole hashtag beyond the belts. He's chasing Kanzu, he's chasing that WBA title. He wants to be number one in the division, doesn't want to fight Kid Galahad again. Galahad's been chirping at Josh. It's all fun and games to watch. We could probably see him potentially unify in 18 months if it all plays out, but just your take on the whole situation for me, Ben.
Yeah, it's hard for people to comment because we don't know the ins and outs, and Josh may well have a fight in the pipeline that he can't mention. If he hasn't, then it may not have been a great move, whatever. But I'm sure he's done it for his own reasons, and I understand Kid Galahad's frustration. But you get an opportunity to fight for a world title, and if Josh has got a big fight around the corner for another world title, like you say, there's a potential unification there. But I don't know what the ins and outs are, so it's hard for me to have too much of an opinion on it, really, if I'm honest.
Do you find it's hard to have an opinion when there's like such a strong rivalry? Like Josh was convincing me earlier that there's no rivalry there, but I know he doesn't like Barry, and I know Barry don't like him. Josh Taylor had it with O'Hara Davis. There are these rivalries in boxing, but when you ain't invested in it you're not Sean, you're not his trainer, so it's hard to make a comment in that sense because you're not as invested.
Do you know what is more than anything, if I'm being honest? I just think too many people have an opinion that don't mean fuck all. Ain't got a Scooby, don't know the ins and outs, don't know the situation, come up with an opinion. Then the fans start thinking, if that's the case, when really they're so far wrong from the truth. Now, if Warrington comes out after this fight on the weekend and announces that he's got a huge fight on the weekend, all of a sudden everybody's going to go, hold on a minute, what decision would you have made? We don't know that. But some idiot might make a smart-ass comment, and then all of a sudden everyone's going, yeah, slagging Josh, but listen, I don't really know. I don't know the situation, so I would just be one of them people, just talking for the sake of talking, and if I was to say something negative about it, I'd just be a prick, to be honest with you. And if I was saying something positive, then I'd be making it up to kiss ass because I don't know the situation.
If you were saying something positive, it wouldn't be welcome on IFL because that's what we're about, Ben. I wanted you to stir some bollocks, mate. Come on.
Exactly, that's what it is, really. But I like to.
Keep out of this one.
No, I keep out of all of it, really. Like, I'm happy to break a fight down and give my opinion because that's my opinion. I know what that fighter can do. I know what that fighter can do. I know their strengths. I know their weaknesses. I can have an idea of how I think the fight may go, or what tactics that each team might try to apply. But in terms of what their business is kept behind closed doors. I don't know. So.
Sweet. I mentioned Josh Taylor. Are we any closer to crossing the T's and dotting the I's with the Ramirez fight and dates? Because obviously I know there was the whole could tie in on the Canelo date, and Eddie said it. He's ideally not the man you want to be clashing with, Canelo Alvarez. But is there anything more concrete for that May date?
Not that we've had so far, but I think you're right. I think they're looking at moving the date, from what I'm hearing. But either way, even if it was pulled forward, Josh is and will be more than ready. So whenever we get the nod, then but we're preparing for it. We're preparing for it now. So whenever, but we haven't had a confirmed date yet. No.
Do you know of anything venue-wise at all? Obviously states, but that's about as far as I've heard.
Yeah, I heard that they did have the MGM Grand booked. I believe it was.
Not bad.
So I don't know. I imagine it'd be the same venue. I thought personally they'd probably go May 1st. A week before Cinco de Mayo's in the middle of the week, I think. So people could potentially make both fights, but I don't know.
All right. It's been a good day for boxing actually, and the cross platforms. Obviously, the purse bids. They weren't won. There was a deal agreed beforehand for Demetrius Andrade and Liam Williams. Purse bid was won by Frank Warren for Denzel Bentley and Felix Cash. It's a good day for boxing, isn't it? And is it nice to see that cross platform, and not just with any fights, with two fights that are really fucking good as well.
Yeah, definitely, and it's happening more and more now, which is good. Good for boxing, good for the sport, and I suppose the fact that deals are having to be made for the big fight with Joshua and Fury, not just with promoters but with broadcasters and all of these kind of things. Hopefully the relationships getting better for more crossover fights to happen.
Can you break down Andrade Williams for me? You, that's it. You are the breakdown king on this channel, and I don't know if you've broken it down. I'm sure you probably have somewhere at some point. But
I think I've mentioned elements of the fight, but I've not sat and obviously spent time to study that because I've got enough fighters that I work with to have a look. But just off the top of my head, Liam Williams is an aggressive type fighter that will probably look to impose his physical attributes on the fight, therefore coming forward trying to push the pace. Demetrius Andrade, long southpaw. I think pushing Andrade back and Andrade on the back foot is a difficult man to beat. I do think that. I remember his performance in the Olympics 2008 against, I believe, Andrei Balanov. I'm sure it's Balanov in the Olympics, where he looked phenomenal on the back foot. I think with Andrade, it's his transition between distances, which is a problem. So if you can make him have to transition distances rather than close the distance for him by going to him, that's where you can find faults in his game. But it's whether Liam Williams is able to do that. But it's not really his style, is it? He's a physically imposing, aggressive type guy that comes looking for the action.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I don't actually, and I thought this and I tweeted it the other day, I don't actually think stylistically it's the greatest fight, but I think the intrigue is, Liam's been claiming he'll do so as well, is Liam just going to steam towards him, a second into the fight, ref get out of the way, bang, bang. But obviously I know it doesn't work like that, but I suppose is that where the intrigue lies, the fact, will Liam just try and smother the life out of him?
Like I say, I think it's a tough ask if Liam Williams applies that tactic. I know he's looked, really good against his recent opponents, but it's a different level, isn't it, And the fact that he's been boxing orthodoxies, Andrade is a southpaw and a long southpaw, that with long arms, and he's tall, and he's going to have a long way to get right up close and to be able to do that. But and it's world level, you can't just rush in. As they say, only fools rush in. So, but that is part of the intrigue, people say that he looked like I really like Liam Williams as well, by the way. But people say he looked like a machine since going up to middleweight. But at the level that he's been doing it at is different. Doing it at top level is another ball game. But it's not to say that he can't do it.
Right, Ben, thank you very much. Normally there's so much more to talk about, but I know you covered the Wilder Breland stuff with Umar the other day, and to be honest, are you a bit sick of covering things about Joshua Fury now? Because it's not here yet. When it's here, obviously I know you're going to want to jump on and do everything, but it's not here. So.
Yeah, I've just done something there for Sky, not sick of it, but listen, it's going to be a mega fight, but I'm just repeating myself, aren't I? Do you know what I mean? I've gave my opinion on it a few times on a few various channels about how I think that the dynamic of the fight may have changed now, and all of these kind of things. So, yeah, just focused now on Lee's fight on the weekend, and I think it's going to be a great fight. I think certainly potential for a real entertaining one, and both men are good men. So that's it. Hopefully have a good weekend of boxing.
Good stuff. I do just actually want to ask this quickly. We know you've still got love for Tyson, obviously, but is there a bit of a perhaps sore side in yourself that it can sometimes not hurt a little bit. I don't really know how to word this, but the fact that everyone keeps going on about it, and it was originally going to be you and Tyson, and obviously you're not the first trainer Tyson's had, but is there also a bit of an aspect there where, you know what I'm trying to get at, is there an aspect where it's a bit tough at times as well? I'm not trying to counsel you, but you know what I mean, yeah.
Of course, I know that. No, what I would say is, so I often get, like, have you spoke to Tyson recently? Like, I speak to him here and there, of course, but he's got his career, like, he's a busy man himself. How many people do you think his phone and messages and
Media.
how many people do you think he's got to entertain? He's got a big family there as well, and he's got his own training to focus on, his career to focus on, and that stuff in the ring, never mind things outside the ring. So, you know, I don't speak to him all the time, but, you know, the things that we went through, the impact that we had on each other's life, that will never go. There's always be that special connection there, and, you know, I'm not going to keep on at him, and he's not going to keep on at me. I fully understand that both men are busy, but I'm sure when his career is up and he's got some time, that, you know, we will always cherish those memories and have a fantastic relationship, because, like I say, you know, the impact we both had on each other's life will forever be there. That can never be taken away, and some special moments that go beyond boxing. The impact that journey had on not only the sport of boxing, but sufferers of mental health, all types of people in all different walks of life, and for us to have taken that journey together will never change anything, you know, and special moments, and I'm sure that when we both get a little bit of time, that we'll be able to go back on and look back and have some good times looking back on those memories as well.
Good stuff. My dad did say the other day, we was watching something about Tyson on BT, and my dad looked at me and went, I do miss Ben and Tyson together, as if it was like some love story, but like you said, it's all about this weekend, Lee with Rhys Mould, and yeah, Showstealer? I think so, why not?
It potentially is, you know. Do you know what it is? I think that both men don't have much room for error, for mistakes in this fight, because both men can punch and both men really want it, and I think if either man won't let their man off the hook, so I think both men don't have much room for error. But listen, I'd just like to show every fighter respect, and I respect, you know, it's a great British dust-up, and yeah, you know, I hope that the fans enjoy it, and may the best man win, so to speak.